Hello, Poggers, and welcome back to another episode of The Pog State. This is Chronicle's last one, and I still got him.
Is
you
it?
love to say, is it? It may not be. I'm not gonna say that definitively, but it might have been. It's one of the last, or something like that. Anyway, I'm joined by Chronicler, Wolf, and Dagon as we are looking to go over everything that has led us to this beautiful point that we have reached now. 2 more. Best of 5s in the LCK Before Worlds is officially underway, and we have got so much to talk about. So first, gentlemen, we've got some eulogizing to do, a little bit of conversing about what happened in the play-ins, and we did lose quite a few teams. One team in particular we lost is one of the greatest that we have here in the LCK, gives us endless content and good feelings.
The best fans in the business.
And the most channel points spent out of any other team that we have. It's the Bros.
Oh, when you said the channel points part, I couldn't pivot. I was going to be like, D+? He's saying it's the best fans in the world? Oh.
No.
The channel points thing is really good because today for the Gen G T1 match, I was like, how do I have 14,000 channel points? It's because the pros aren't playing.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah. That is how that one goes. But, you know, they didn't exactly have the greatest of... Like, they went defeated. So at least they helped with letter
Which is the
economy.
opposite of undefeated.
Yeah, but you just don't need the un. So they were being efficient.
They did better than expected against Nongshim, which was cool.
Yeah, true.
That was a 5-gamer. I did not think that was going to be a 5-gamer. As it turns out, that mostly had to do with Nongshim, not so much with Bro.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't think Bro necessarily achieved above, higher than expectation or lower.
Bro did beat DRX to get there.
That was the big thing.
True. There we go.
Bro had some of the best moments of the year. They had that and the 10,000 gold comeback. I think those are 2 of the top 10 moments of the year.
Is that a...
Was that a
I think that's supposed to be a bottom 10 moment.
Yeah, that moment was
That's a bottom 10 moment.
definitively negative.
That actually, you know, there's always like these moments they ask you, like, what, especially for me at this point, are like, what will you remember most? And obviously, some of the go-tos are like what you'd expect, right? Really big series, Atlas going bald. But that one will never be answered because I don't want to remember it. But we were there, and
the problem is it is ingrained into my brain, but for negative reasons.
Yes.
Because that wasn't an example of an incrable comeback.
Yeah, I will remember that moment.
Of a colossal
I will
throw.
remember that moment next time we talk about DNF.
Yeah.
But not when we're talking about Bro.
Yeah,
Sorry,
100%.
What?
Yeah.
That was such a great moment. Plus,
It
we
was
got
a
the
throw.
Nar
It was a
counters.
throw. It was not a comeback.
Nar.
Yeah, we did lose
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we did lose it, but we didn't lose it because Bro
job,
were
Social.
winning.
I
We
think
lost
DNF
it because
lost it,
DNF
actually.
will lose.
We lost
DNF
it in
lost it. That's
in
what
a
I
sad
remember.
way.
Damn, this is how you know I'm a fan because I'm like, look, all these things happened, right? You guys were there. You guys said it happened. You're like, yeah,
Little
lived
Delulu.
Yeah.
Digon
Yeah,
Delulu.
You only run into issues if you have empathy for both teams.
Look, there's a lot
As
of
soon
good
as you do
things.
that, you
There's a
ruin
lot of good things to
Yeah,
say
right.
about Bro. There's no reason to talk trash about DNF. We said goodbye to them a long time ago, Digon.
I mean, I had empathy for both teams, and it did not make me feel good.
No,
that
it didn't.
series.
That's why it's way worse.
How about
yeah.
Closer's best individual year?
Wait, we need to... This is actually so perfect that we have you here, Wolf.
Rectification time.
Can you tell us how Closer's best individual year really went for you? Tell us how it really lived up to what you were expecting out of him.
Not
till
year of
till
Closer.
now.
So, yeah, not the year of Closer, just Closer's best individual year, as opposed to his previous years, which did not go as well on Live Sandbox and when he was a sub for Faker on T1. But this year started off great in Kespa Cup, LCK Cup, a little bit less good, but then ramped up again at the very end of the first half of the split, before we moved to round 3. He was one of the best mid laners in what became the Rise group. It looked like maybe Bro was going to be one of the stronger teams there. Fell off a little bit. You know, there was a little drop off, but still, I think his most consistent and best individual year.
It's okay, Wolf. I know how it feels to have stuff attributed to you that you've never said. That's happened a lot.
I mean,
The year of closer is yet to come.
Yeah.
But his best individual year was 2025.
yeah. Until
Maybe
the year of closer
2026
does
could be
happen.
the year of closer.
Yeah, for me, it's just bro's bittersweet because obviously they didn't win a series in play-ins, but the fact that they got there was the big win. That's so you can't really be too sad. Even if you're a bro fan, I think that was kind of the largely pervasive sentiment.
Yeah, it was like if you ever have stakes, it feels like they would have folded. And in that 9th, 8th place match where the stakes were high, they won, right?
They didn't fold.
They didn't fold, right? We knew it was going to be good vibes.
Not
but
until
they
Game
won.
5 of the Nongshim series.
And then, and then that's where it was like, ooh, real stakes happened, and then they folded. But I think I'll remember this year as like massive change. Edgar has been relieved of his duties, Duke on in, and I think that whether it's good or not, it's a change for the bros for the future, and I find that interesting. We had so many different players play on the team. Our starting AD carries on loan, so he's definitely gone. So it's a year of change and moderate success after the leadership change. But now we know in 2026 it's going to be different, but the vibes will remain. So yeah,
It's very interesting, actually, thinking about Bro and what's going to happen moving to 2026. I know this is not quite the time to talk about it, but we're not going to see them again.
Is.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm just thinking about like the loan for Hype situation. Like, are they going to go back to that again? Do they because Hype didn't really have the greatest end to the season. I think
Definitely
at the
not.
beginning we were like, because
Maybe.
in Challenger he was amazing.
Yeah.
And then wasn't really the breakout star. That was more Diablo from like that sort of like same vein. So I don't know what the bros are going to look like.
That KT
not
roster
gonna
did
say
not
it.
age well.
No.
That KT roster did not age well, which is kind of insane because they were statistically the best roster. Because it was.
All right, let's remind Chronicler one more time. There's a big gap between
No,
us.
I know, but hey, I feel like obviously my actual hit rate is like 50-50, as we all know.
It's generous.
No, we did it. We
Oh, you
counted
did it,
Yeah,
actually?
yeah. It's 50-50, right?
It feels like it's like 2-8, but yeah, if actually.
Oh, hey, come on now. Hey, do I need to bring up the Diablo first POC state of the split when I said, guys, Diablo's actually
Yeah,
good?
we
And
got-
all of you laughed at me?
I was a big doubter.
Yeah, I
I
was a big doubter
There
as
was
well.
big doubters.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Anyway.
Valdez was also a doubter.
Yeah, and again, that's half the time it's worth it because you can also be like, what about Bulldog? And I'm like, I got nothing. Which hurts me. But
Just the Hype thing real quick was like, he wasn't on the Rookie of the Year ballot, was he? Did he play last year?
this was, I think, one of the funny OKT played a series.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was
okay.
that. Right? That was the Hype Way roster.
It was
Yeah,
Hype
because
Way,
when you brought up
I know.
Diablo, I was
might
like,
have
he
been
wasn't even
Rebel,
on the
but I think it
ballot.
was Way.
No.
And also, he wouldn't have been there.
I know.
So
he would have
it's
finished
actually okay.
last
So-
out of last.
Nice
but-
work, Hype. He rebelled
But
against
it was
Rookie of the Year.
really funny that at the beginning of the year, also like after LCK Cup and Kespa Cup, everyone was like, "Man, KT let him go!
Yeah,
like Duck
right.
Dom's a
Duck Dom
train wreck."
Yeah.
Little
it's-
did
That
we
aged
know.
poorly.
But like, it feels so good that aged poorly because we actually get to see Doctom finally performing well. Like, this guy had so much potential for so long. We're having that conversation what felt like forever, and finally actually has some good games, positions well, makes good decisions. Like, it's about bloody time, you know?
Pretty high world seed.
So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, next is the next team that got eliminated, which that I feel a lot more sad about, which is Nongshim.
Yeah.
I don't feel sad.
I do feel sad. You know why? Because I'm a GU fan, and it was not a good year to be a GU
Oh
fan.
God, this
because
was not Jiu's best
that was-
individual year.
that was honestly
It was actually, in fact, his worst individual year.
Yeah, I
it's,
would
it's,
say
it's
that.
actually like the fall off to me, and there were obviously a lot of parts of this roster that didn't really gel. I think in hindsight, I think Gideon also had a massive drop off. Lahens obviously did not find his return to form.
Yeah.
But for me, GU is just it kind of baffles me because particularly in his debut year, but even in 2024, I think he started like having more issues. But there were so often still glimpses of the player that in 2023 was the only reason, together with the vibes of Nongshim, why they won games.
Yeah.
Even against like T1 in their prime, in the year that they were able to have that crazy spring, right? Like there were a lot of instances where GU was just legit, and he was just probably the worst AD carry.
Yeah.
This split, because the AD carry that was on the worst team, Berserker, was better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Hype, he and Hype were like kind of competing towards the end a little
Hype
bit,
was still pretty-
yeah, I mean,
Like Teddy and Lazyfield, I'd say, were maybe that was sometime. But I think Gio was
but
just.
he was in the Legend group, which is why it's even more insane. Yeah,
But then when he played against Rice teams, it was still.
Yeah.
It was rough. It was rough. No notes for Kingen though. Kingen, great.
Keenan
great
looked
year.
like he was
Keenan
looking
had his
forward to
keen year.
2026.
He had a
Yes.
keen year.
He had a Cuz year.
He had a
And a
Keen and
Cuz
a
year.
Cuz year.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
He was looking forward to 2026 there when he didn't TP to that team fight.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, he instead TP'd hopefully to 2026 and did not experience this year at all.
I don't know if
Lehens,
anyone
though,
else-
Lehens,
was
it
bad.
was not a good ending to the year for Lehens. It was a pretty good start.
Round 1 and 2?
The Shen, the round 1 and 2 is why they got Legend Group in the first place, because they were actually decently dominant
They
in
were the
rounds 1 and
first
2, and he was
to
playing the
qualify.
Shen and playing very aggressively with the Elise support, like when it was kind of a niche thing and not like, okay, it's banned, like what is Lehens going to do? Which
think-
started to feel like that was the case later on.
I think there is definitely positives to take away from Calix, though.
Yeah.
Who
Fair.
wasn't phenomenal when we saw him prior, when he had a couple of games subbed in here and there, but then when he became sort of the main mid laner for the team, was really able to shoulder a lot of responsibility, which I think is like pretty impressive for a young player who I think even like based on a lot of, I think, recency bias personally, but a lot of people putting him very high on the Rookie of the Year ballot as well, just based on some like towards the end of the year performances that he managed to bring out. So I think like the solo lanes for Nongshim, good story. If you only watch the first 3 weeks of the LCK, Gideon, amazing story. Don't pay attention to the rest. And then Jiu was just a disaster all year, and they unfortunately only
I
had
wanna
Trigger to
hear-
try and help.
I want to hear why Dagon's not sad about Nongshim.
Yeah, I think it's similar to how I feel with DNF, where you have great players, some who have achieved a lot, some who are on the up, and some who have great potential. But together, it just doesn't work, right? With DNF, it was the same thing. I think with Nongshim, it was more frustrating because you could see, I guess, when you had Fisher, you had someone to... You had high and low floor. And so they went with the safer option to develop Calix, but then Lehens's kind of like listen to your hung strategy didn't work. And I think all of a sudden, if that was the way that you wanted to play and it was working with Fisher, but then you swap on over to Calix, which I think was great experience for him to get all of those matches against legend teams and legend mid laners, you're sacking the year. Like, it just felt like once they made that change and the team didn't find any momentum, and then, you know, Jiwoo's playing bad because he's low on confidence, because Lehens is a demanding leader who can be a general for people that are, for soldiers. And he had what felt like trainees. He had, I guess, just people that couldn't handle the way that he led. And then I think he lost his way. All of a sudden, it just felt like this is a lost year for Nongshim, which is why I was upset as a Bro fan that we lost to that, because I'm like, hey, this is where
there
we're
it
at.
is, yeah.
But mostly, like, even just through the legend group, like, it was just tough to watch them go out there, throw shit on a wall, and it not stick. And it felt like, okay, we're doing the same thing now. What are we doing?
It was volunteering to go into the guillotine
Yeah.
for KT and
Yeah.
Nongshim. Unfortunately, that's what the legend group was. It's so funny. Like, so much of this year was a lot of people talking about format. And I think about the legend group, and I'm like, this was such a mistake. And then I pause, and I think about the Rise group, and I'm like, what a colossal success.
I don't want to lose Rise.
know?
We shouldn't lose Rise Group.
No, I want this format forever. I want to have teams that are just
'Cause-
in the meat grinder
'cause-
while
'cause
we
people-
get to celebrate the Rise
People
group.
are thinking, would you really want to see this Gen G and this T1 as they were in Legend Group against DNF and DRX? Like, how do you
No.
think that would look?
No, worse.
Yeah.
You just volunteer. You put 2 up for tribute, you know, and then you have Hanwha that can beat the rest, but not the top.
By the way, one of the tributes bid back. I'm
Yeah,
getting ahead of
true.
myself, but
True. And I guess the one last thing that we need to talk about is Rammus support. Is it real?
no. Carry on. Next
No,
topic.
I think
Okay.
confirmed not actually.
Confirmed no.
Barrel
No.
has like apparently 100 games of it in solo queue, but
Actually?
I think it's not real.
And-
Someone sent me that.
And also, maybe pick it into AD champions instead of.
Yeah,
Not
that
IP.
was a quizzical part
And
of the
also,
whole situation.
I don't. let's get into playoffs, right? Because B&K.
Are you sure? We did kind of skip over.
No, because we're going to talk about B&K and DK.
Oh, that's true. They did make it.
Because they made it to
So
playoffs.
we only said goodbye to 2.
Like, I mean, we can. Yeah,
I was so ready.
Okay,
Well,
so
yeah, well,
now
we
we
can-
can move to the playoffs. And we can begin.
Woo, sirens outside.
So we begin with B&K.
Should
I don't
should we
think
wait
our-
for the sirens to go?
I don't think the sirens can be picked up
They will
in our
definitely be
microphones.
picked up.
I think we're going to be okay.
So I
They're
just look
somewhat
like I need to go
directional.
into a padded room.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's okay.
It's
Wolf.
okay, Wolf. It's no
I
different.
thought you guys paused because we were going to stop for the
That's
sirens.
what everyone thought about me on Twitter.
All
last
right,
week.
Grandpa
It's fine.
Wolf, go ahead. Alice.
Do you want to tell
Even
people
my
about
colleagues.
the crash out or no?
Oh, so yeah, basically, our first version that I saw of this was on Reddit like 8 years ago. Just a guy just responding to himself and doing like hitting all the internet classic comments on Reddit, which is also very predictable. And then I think it was like a couple of months ago, there was a Genshin fan that
Okay.
did the same thing.
Genshin?
And I just thought this is great performance art. And I have read so much League fan discourse that I can do this. But I just waiting for the right time. And
you
obviously,
did do a very good job. There were very believable comments.
I had a couple of really big misses that I'm sad about. The most obvious one is at Grok, is this true?
Oh,
I missed that one. That one I'm really sad about.
believe
that's
you didn't
actually
do
a
that.
tragedy.
Yeah, I know. Or at Grok context, you know. That,
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
but also, I don't want to really add the AI, so it's fine. Someone else did it for me. So
At
it's
Grok,
okay,
what's
good.
happening here?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
happening in this Twitter meltdown?
Can you? And then Grok responds like, "It's not enough. Summarize, please." Should have done that.
Yeah.
But no, I just thought it'd be funny, and I was on my way to work. It's like, well, I'm nervous for DK playing today. They're probably gonna lose. Might as well do something fun.
True.
And then I was
What's
doing
more
it.
fun than a crash out?
Yeah. And then, well, I don't know.
You had a lot of time on that train. Like it felt like it was delayed or
no,
something.
I'm a bit of a shit poster, right? So I don't know. Like it was like I went from home to work, and then I started when I was like on the train, which is like 40 minutes, and then I got Jimmy John's, and that was kind of it.
Wonderful.
I was doing it while getting my sandwich. It's great. It was fun.
So now let's actually talk about what the crash out was related to, and that was DK. And
Hey, B&K got eliminated first. We should handle.
they?
We should. Yeah, they
I guess
lost.
they did.
So we
They-
should talk about them first.
Let's talk about BK.
I don't want
then.
to talk about DK.
Yeah, no, we're putting it off. I just kind of wanted to get it over and done with. But instead, we can talk about the true front runner of Rookie of the Year. I think like B&K, I struggle to like. I think that we've been understandably sad about some of the teams. Nongshim especially is a team that feels like it's run its course.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, even though Calyx is very very new, there's a lot of the names on this team that should have been able to use him as a weapon and actually like find some success. B&K, on the other hand, I feel like are still figuring themselves out, trying to gel. I think that Raptor had actually a pretty impressive year.
He was crazy.
I think Diablo was amazing. And these are two very young talent that look like they've got a long way to go in the LCK. I think Clear also actually finding some form was really nice to see. So a lot of me is just kind of happy with B&K and like
Yeah,
the
there's-
fact that they did relatively well and made a decently deep run.
There's like a huge difference in terms of like how you finish and what your expectations were, right? Obviously, B&K made it deeper than Nongshim, but like Nongshim's expectations as a legend team, as well as the roster you mentioned, means that to finish the way they did and to almost lose to Bro, for example, is like actually kind of a tragedy. Whereas for B&K, it's like, oh, they rose to the occasion. Like they actually almost did a big thing. Like Raptor showed up suddenly.
And
And
they were first seed out of play-ins.
Yeah.
That in of itself.
So, I mean, that was, to me, like, I think the way we viewed it was different because our expectations were lower. And, like, we started the year on our very first Pox Data episode, which was, there was some Diablo slander, but we all kind of thought this roster is the worst one. Like, this roster
100%.
can do nothing. Like, this roster is not even worth discussing. And I think at the time, based on what we knew, that wasn't inaccurate,
Well, if
but
you-
it
and remember too,
massively exceeded our expectations.
Yeah, it's crazy as well because like Kingen just came off one of his like most colossally terrible years that he's ever had, and then turns up and gets like the most duo kills out of any lane in the league.
Yeah.
Oh, Kellen,
Like,
you mean.
sorry,
Yeah,
Kellen. Yeah. Who did I say?
Kingen.
Kingen. Ah, they both start with
Then you
K.
said duo kills. I'm like,
Yeah,
I was like,
sorry.
Well,
Yeah, I meant
Kingen
Kellen.
had a ton of solo kills, too.
Yeah, Kingen also
Kingen
played
was
well. But no, it was Kellen that I was talking about because Kellen was really like one of these players that I think like had the most public just terrible moments, like some of the Alistair
2023
situations,
Worlds,
like all of this
yeah.
sort of stuff. Like it just really felt like Kellen wasn't finding angles. And this year, like this young kid turns up, and Kellen actually plays well alongside him. Like it doesn't look like they have the same like, oh, our support doesn't have a voice and therefore this team doesn't look good. Like we felt like there was something missing from Kellen because he wasn't able to offer a lot of that coordination. But we saw in B&K that wasn't their problem. Their problem was more about like trying to calm people down from making too many decisions.
And we were all, because I remember that episode pretty vividly. Like even I thought Diablo was going to be good, but as you're saying, I think it's also because Raptor, it was clear that he was going to be playing. We're like, what about Willer?
Willer, yeah.
And then as it turns out, Raptor was one of the best promotions that we saw this year. Like it was actually such a cool story to watch him really be together with Diablo kind of the core of what makes the team pop, and then Kellen be a really stable force. I think unfortunately they were limited by their solo lanes. And I think that they found against DK in the first series a really good way of mitigating that, which is why they were able to beat them.
Play Morgana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think their drafting was good as well, but then I do think it makes sense that once they got deeper, those flaws were a bit more exposed. But I'm with you. I think they had a great year. Like, making it to playoffs, that's a big deal.
And I think that was the fun of this team, going back to what Wolf was saying with Nongshim against B&K. We got to really, I guess, try to visualize, does this team have legend firepower, right? Bro, they have something that works for them, but it probably won't work against better teams. D+, we know they have legend firepower, but B&K was a team where it's like, is Diablo? Like, is the Diablo win strategy going to win against T1? Is it going to win against NG? Can they get wins with how good this kid is? And it was fun to think about it and see it, and then to see the team kind of come to that identity of level 3 gank, focus on bottom side of the map, mitigate how much damage, self-damage your mid lane is doing by putting them on utility mids. And that was fun. And I think the most disappointing thing to me was in this playoff run, it felt like they got away from it, especially against D+ in that elimination match.
Like, I dared to dream, like, when they were playing against KT, I was like, maybe this could happen, right? And then...
Best Otacon, I think, of the year.
It was super
in
sick.
game 1 by B&K Firax.
It was clean, and then I think their strategy became quite predictable, which I think is part of why they moved away from it.
Sure.
Yeah.
But when we saw them play that way, I thought, why didn't we play that way more? Like, we've all known Diablo's incredibly talented. The coaching staff and Ryu must have known. The drafting for Ryu got mostly better towards the end of the year as well, and I'm like, you didn't trust your players earlier, I guess, to play some of these drafts, and then they took some risks, and then they pulled out those utility picks for Vikla. It made me wonder, like, what could have been if they played this style, or at least mixed it in a lot more before we got too deep into the year to where, like, they were locked into Rise and kind of stuck down there.
The thing is, like, I'm feeling like that's what the year is for figuring that out, right? And I want to commend them for being able to, like, work out this is what our roster does. Like, to juxtapose it, like, next to Nongshim didn't. They couldn't figure it out. None of what they did was in the right direction, and then they failed, right? And B&K, even though they went out, like, only... it's series after them, basically. But it still felt like Ryu had found the way to make it work. I think the self-awareness of this team was just really refreshing, right? Like, watching Vikla say, like, I'm not mechanically as good as these mid laners. I'm just going to play Morgana and Annie and just coast through and be able to affect team fights in a good way later on in the game. And I think Vikla actually made some fantastic plays, even if his laning wasn't actually as good
as well.
He did get a lot better, but I also still think that he covered for his flaws in a really, really good way. And that level of self-awareness, I think, is really commendable.
It's hard to find
like
sometimes, it's hard to be willing to make those types of sacrifices.
Yeah. Especially because of, and I got to see it, like his time in LCS and the fall that he had and the confidence that was gone and then getting benched by what was a collegiate player at that time in Spyrax, I think. That is a big mountain to fall from, having played in LCK, getting that LCK experience, Rookie of the Year, and then falling pretty on the sword there with FlyQuest, going over to LPL, not finding success there. That's 2 whole years of kind of losing form, and then getting this opportunity, starting off poorly, and then finding a way back on in. I'm hard on him, but now that you've kind of brought it back on up, I think that's a good way to think about it. He did improve, and now that I think, I think
Also,
that's
by
a
all
good thing.
accounts, a great teammate. I think that the B&K team, B&K as a organization is very consistent with getting these teams to just consistently punch a little bit above their weight. I don't think they ever make like crazy runs, but
They're always like peeking into playoffs
they
a little
are.
bit. They're like,
well,
hey,
no, but actually, like
Pushing bro out of the way.
It's not for me this year, you know. And then they
But
pop down out of the attic.
I
yeah.
remember seeing the stat. They actually has made playoffs every time
there was
since
that
they
one-
were since the
rebrand, or
No,
since they
since they-
debuted as Sandbox.
I'm actually the summer, but definitely since the rebrand. Yeah,
There was
Oh my
this
God.
period of time where they went on the streak. I think it was in 2023 where they were like top 3 for like
Yeah.
a few weeks, which was kind of crazy.
It is kind of strange because the year they debuted alongside Griffin, and both of the teams, like even at that time, I think it was like Summit that was on on Sandbox back then. Like this was a team that was like hyper explosive, like crazy rookies that were just
Level
doing
2
dumb
ganking,
stuff.
yeah.
The whole time, and it was awesome to watch. They were a really fun team. I feel like they've kept the same kind of identity forever.
they have they've been the same team for 6 years.
They're like level 3 gank the team.
Yeah.
Like, and they've just like the way that they've held on to that, even though they've changed coaching stuff, they've changed
Players.
so many things. Like, it feels like I don't know how this happens.
It's like KT.
It's like KT. It's like Genji. It's like T1. Like, it doesn't matter who's playing. These organizations just have the vibe.
They have a
like the
soul.
bros are the same thing. Like it's like there must be something in the water or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how it happens.
Clearly, Afrika didn't have it.
No,
they're kind of like, woohoo!
yeah, yeah.
They're the only soulless team.
They used to be
apparently.
the team that really wanted best of ones. I do remember that
Yeah.
from a few years ago.
We won.
Also-
All right, cool. We're out.
I've
Yep.
been told they had a great top laner.
Yeah, that guy
did
was pretty
happen.
good.
Yeah.
I don't know where he's
a great
gone.
mid laner once upon a time.
Reminds
as
me
well.
of the top laner for Gen G though. Oh no.
Fly's doing well.
He's streaming sometimes. Yeah, he's
lifting his
around.
Oh, you're talking about Fly? I thought you were talking about Bulldog.
No, he's talking about.
Oh,
That's mean.
Sorry.
Is it? We've seen a lot of them. It's
I mean, Bulldog.
Jiwoo
I
type.
think, no, yeah, I think Bulldog also is one of those players where even though he wasn't like top tier, I think he had a good debut year.
Yeah.
But he has fallen off substantially and isn't able to maintain form.
Number 1 in solo queue.
There we go.
Like what else? I mean, it's tough.
Should scrim more.
Is
maybe.
it time? Do we have to?
No, T1's still in. What do you?
No.
Yep.
No, it's time.
It's
It's
time. We
time.
got to talk about DK. And I'm really.
I brought it.
Wow.
I was ready. You want to wear it?
I left mine at home.
I think that
too.
DK ended, and I obviously we got some hoping at the beginning. I think that they ended exactly where they belonged, which is 5th place.
I thought you were gonna say what I basically said on the day. It was they died the way they lived. Like,
I,
the Barrel Ramos game to end it, it was kind of like I'm like, well, I mean,
it's true. No, it's
you
true.
know, you barrel sometimes and you find out. Like,
Barrel was great. That was
the barrel bar. I
awesome.
dream
Oh my gosh.
of a next year for DK where they keep their top side and make some changes in the coaching staff, and then I will dare to dream again.
Don't bring stuff like that up. Okay.
I don't want to, Max. I don't want to fight with you. You know, this might be my
Good.
final poke state.
Then don't talk about what you were going to talk about.
Max, what was Barrel's KD in the final game?
I was about to say a swear word. I don't mind. It's not about that.
You don't give any minds?
It's not about that.
Mind
so
you.
Wolf, you were also there.
it was not a positive.
he went
number.
0-9, okay? It's fine. The thing is, he was trying something out, and it didn't work. And that's allowed.
So for me, the main talking point is actually the fall off of aiming, because Barrel being Barrel, I don't think should have surprised anyone.
Yeah, aiming's playoffs were
Let's talk about
pretty
the Smolder
horrendous.
game again.
I
I love to talk about that.
Yes,
Was
'Cause
that,
I don't.
was that where aiming died?
Yes.
Did he die for the rest of
No.
playoffs in that one game?
No.
I think he did.
I think aiming.
It was a
Aiming
time
had
paradoxical
been,
event.
to me at least, looking good in stats. But for all of Aiming's flaws, for I think most of his career, and this goes back to KT, Hyper Series
KT fans
notwithstanding, KT fans remember. Wolf has reminded me many a time. But his traditional trade-off was if he has an escape, Kai'Sa, Ezreal, Lucian, he will be good. If he doesn't, he's kind of going to run it down, right? He's going to be out of position and he's going to lose you the game,
Severe.
even if you invest a lot of resources. For me, it was very telling that in the final parts of the DK split, he wasn't good on his champions. Like, he would be getting caught on Ezreal. He would be dashing into people as Lucian. And like
the build, the Lucian build.
Yeah. Well,
God.
that's like a whole mother thing. But
And the Senna.
for me, those were the moments. And then I think that DK, I was expecting them kind of to go out earlier because the top side was also losing it. And then I think the top side got it together for playoffs until they met an actually good team.
Good job, Sheezy Weezy.
And even then, they managed to go 5 games against T1.
The first time, yeah.
And I was actually...
They should have won that 5th game as well. I think they still wouldn't have made it. But I mean, it's true though, right?
It is.
I
Wolf's
think
getting to cash in.
No, it's true. I think they would have with how the bracket played out. I don't think they would have ever made it because I think the second time they faced T1, they would never beat them.
Yeah.
Given how the form was, but I do think they should have won that first series, and that was legitimately just. It was a way worse version of the 2023.
Ezreal, yeah.
You want to talk about it?
I mean, the Ezreal shift forward, yeah. Yeah, they weren't
That
scaled
flap,
yet. Yeah.
it was just...
There was no excuse. There's not really any redeeming
It's
quality.
burned into my brain. Like, I have the screen cap in my retinas right
So-
now. It's there. It exists.
I want to know what the comms were. You know, like, what did he say? What did the team say?
He
What
did
did
say something
CV Max
afterwards.
say?
Like,
Oh,
in an
I'm
interview.
pretty sure I heard Beryl say, "For that, I'm playing Rammus in Game 4." I think that's what he said. I
He
think
did
that's
say
how that one
something
worked.
like that I can't remember exactly what he said, but he thought he had enough space and like he misjudged it and he felt really bad about it and he's like, I'm just trying to improve.
That's
right? But
everyone that
it's-
gets hooked by Blitzcrank.
Yeah,
Just flash.
he just was like, no, I don't think I have to flash here. He said something about it in a post game interview, but it's not going to change anyone's minds, and D Plus fans are going to be mad forever. And
Yeah.
it happened to me, it happened to you.
Yeah, I think that I'm happy that Lucid bounced back because obviously want him to do well. I think he's still a little bit up and down, but I think Showmaker and Lucid, that's just how they are, and that's always kind
Yeah.
of going to be ingrained. And the
I think
fact
Showmaker did get better towards the end of the
He
year.
got a
I was,
lot better.
I was very happy to see Showmaker actually finding some
So
form.
like Berserker Lehen's bot lane D Plus 2026.
I know a man
I'm
who
down
has
for Berserker.
guys. I know a man who has been jailed on JDG that I personally would love to come back to the LCK.
Who's that?
Imagine a world where DK Pace is a thing.
I'm like trying to remember who the jungler is for JDG at the moment, and I know it's been a revolving door. I was like trying to figure
It's,
out which
Shun.
Chinese import we're going to get.
No, it's Shun.
It's just still Shun? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
looking
pretty
forward to
sure.
him coming over. That would be cool. We haven't had an LPL import in Korea before.
Sorry,
What?
why? Why would they change jungler?
Well, like, because you said,
yeah.
like, bring someone from JDG, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
I said a
Trying to
bot-
think of a
someone
relevant
said
choice.
I said a bot
Specifically.
laner.
oh, wait, who's their support? I don't know who's on JDG at the moment. I know Pays is there, but we definitely don't want him.
Yeah. I'm getting rage baited.
It's working.
It's working. It's very
Can-
successful.
D Plus afford pays.
Yeah.
The answer is
No.
probably not. Can they afford Berserker? Maybe.
I just
Honestly, I like the Berserker option more. I do think that, and Pays is actually playing really well at this like part of, like, we might get Pays versus T1. That could be a possibility if JDG are 4th seed. That would be crazy cool. But I feel like Berserker fits the DK vibes. I don't know, something about that that works in my brain.
I think that given the start that they had and the talent that they had, despite everything, I think, again, coaching changes we have been hinting towards, and I want to echo again, would probably be good. And then I think for Beryl, like, jokes aside, obviously Beryl I think he had actually a little bit of a glow up. I think his play-ins and starter playoffs performance was actually better.
he had like the Nautilus game to start things off against T1
Which
in the
was
last series was amazing.
incredible. But I think for Beryl, I know
He's
so
already
age-wise, he's
soft
going to military.
announced, right? That
Yeah.
he's not going to
Yeah.
be playing next year. Yeah.
So I think that provides a satisfying ending for everyone involved.
No, ASI champs or whatever. That's going to be the thing.
You know, I love
the
DK.
cup champ's going to be there. It's kind of tough.
He wants to be a best of the rest champ. That's what he wants to be.
As long as they keep the top side, I'll be happy. And really, let's be real. As long as they keep Showmaker, I'll be watching.
Well, okay. So
Wait.
that's what I wanted to bring up.
Can we call ASI Rise Championships?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
that's basically what it is, right?
Yeah.
They
it
probably
is.
need some help with branding.
Is
We're down.
that just the best tournament ever then?
Yes.
Like, I think maybe it
Yeah,
just
but what do you
is.
mean?
It'll be a cultural event.
Oh, of the decade.
Yeah.
It'll
My
be good.
goodness.
Yeah, I'm ready to enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm psyched.
Thanks, Wolf.
would just
It's gonna be good. Yeah.
Are you gonna hate watch Wolf?
No, I'm just gonna enjoy it. Yeah.
he's just gonna watch.
Have a good time.
Wolf,
They're not those rosters aren't coming back to our league. Once they either win or lose, whatever, like they're gonna reform, and we can talk about that, and I'll care about it later. But like when they're over there, they're over there. And I can just watch and enjoy.
You get to not worry about it.
They're like no longer LCK teams actually because they were eliminated from the LCK.
Are there
so they're like
rules?
from the LCK, but they're not really LCK teams. There is
Are
no
there
LCK.
rules about like because the
Roster fielding?
Stove League is like going to be starting pretty soon, right?
no, I
Like,
imagine you have to.
I was wondering whether there's
Well,
rules about
contracts
like you
expire
have to,
after Worlds.
Yeah, November
right, that's
17
true.
or whatever
So it
it
is
is.
before Worlds.
Yeah.
I mean,
was
there
just
are
wondering,
rules
like,
that you're not supposed to do any phone calls or talk to anybody.
tampering.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's obviously no one's
It's
having
never
conversations
happened.
with
Definitely didn't
anyone.
happen.
Not even a single time.
last year.
No. That's why you have snafus
So-
and things like that because you're not allowed to talk about it. That's
Anyone
why
else
that's all
with
that
strong
happened.
opinions towards DK? I feel
Just-
like Wolf kind of knew and was vindicated.
I mean, I feel like I kind of was and I wasn't. Like I kept predicting them to lose to B&K again, and then they actually beat B&K in the end. Lost to T1 ultimately in the rematch, but I think D Plus did kind of get it together a little bit in terms of their shot calling and objective
she
fights.
was growth in playoffs
Yeah.
was crazy.
I felt less bad about voting for him for Rookie of the Year because I think, yes, he did have a rough patch in the Rise group, but before that I thought he was the most consistent performer and then popped off in playoffs a little bit. So I kind of felt like D Plus got it together a little bit there, like the near win over T1. Mm-hmm. Felt frustrated still, though, that like they didn't have that cohesion for a really long time. I think there's a little bit too many cooks in the kitchen in terms of the drafting style and the coaching change where Bengi was in charge, but CV Max said he wasn't really going to be the main force, but he very obviously was. And I know there was a lot of confusion there.
not
And
great.
I think D Plus probably a little bit of a restructure next year. Not like fully on the roster, but I think probably parts of the roster will be retooled. I think the coaching staff, whether all in on like CV Max is the coach, but more likely maybe he is because it was a temporary position anyways. Maybe he finds another home. I don't know.
And as it
yeah.
turns out, so Beryl, I think it was CV Max that told Beryl to play Rammus. And so I think that
Yes.
should mean that the coaching staff will change. So maybe that's what it is.
I
That's
just
a
wanna bring
lie.
up the-
I'm just trying to cope.
I want to bring up the tough truth, and this is a stat, so you can warp it or whatever. But just the fact that each year, Showmaker's performance since winning the World Championship has gone down by one stage each year, and it's just a bummer because
How is that a stat?
Because
What's a stage?
A fact, right? They went from
Their
World
their
champs.
placement.
Oh, their actual placement.
Yeah, they went from world champs
Ah.
to world finalists to world semi finalists to quarterfinalists
Quarters
to
Yeah, right.
now not making it. I guess we skip playing.
They had Swiss.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So,
so it's just, I guess, sad for me as someone who wasn't following Showmaker super closely before the glow up to see like, oh man, the parts around him are changing and trying to work. He is clearly like working his ass off, and every time we do interviews, every time we see him, he looks exhausted because he puts everything into it. And at what point is it, diminishing returns, or at what point do you not have anything left? At what point does the org be like, I don't know. It's just sad. It's tough to see because I love when he does have those moments. I love when he gets to be a mad scientist. I love when he runs the game, and we're just seeing that less and less. Partially because he's been playing for a long time, mostly because of the staff and the team around him.
He's signed for multiple years and is like the franchise player for this org, so I don't think he's going anywhere. I can't imagine a world where they ever even bench him because he's like the whole brand of the team.
Yeah.
But maybe with a reinvigorated roster, maybe he does better again. We'll have to wait and see.
And I think the top side is very good.
I just hope they keep topside because I know some people were, and obviously I'm very biased, so kind of checked with Dan, who even though he says he's the president of the Lucid fan club, is not.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also hard to imagine a jungler outside of like the obvious names that would be ranked high above him consistently. The only one I could think of is Raptor, and even that one feels to me like a maybe.
Definitely not.
Well,
Yeah,
I
would
think that
keep
Lucid has like the problem with this the team is that they didn't meld together. Like I don't know whether there's like just things back in the team house aren't necessarily going so well, and maybe they need an environmental change. Maybe like something to do with the structure of how DK are working needs to change. Maybe they need to like we were talking about, maybe it's like it's a bottom lane switch up, and we know Beryl is going to be going, so there is going to be a definite need for that change. But maybe it is something outside of the actual players on the team that needs to change. Please.
I guess it is. I keep forgetting that Chiwoo is new because I'm
17.
Yeah.
they swapped the bot lane from last year, so we're gonna do another bot lane swap, but they also swapped top lane, right? And so it's like, okay, we found a piece in Lucid, we found another piece in Chiwoo. We are built around a multi-year contract with our superstar, and we're just gonna keep figuring it out.
And that's DK in a nutshell, right? Like, because even like as this team developed, and even like I know that Showmaker has been theoretically performing worse and worse, but I feel like even like after Ghost, it's like we had Docdom, we had all sorts of like
Hoya?
Deft was there, like Hoya came in for some reason.
Birdle.
Nuguri came back.
And then Nuguri came back again. Yeah. There've been a lot of changes around, but this is a team that is always built around top side of the map. Almost every time. And DK has always been known as like the one team that can actually make split push work, that doesn't necessarily play for team fighting, that plays the smoke and mirrors, does the weird stuff. And I think that I'm hoping that they can hold on to Lucid, Shiu, and Showmaker, because I think that core can actually still make that sort of stuff happen.
I think Shiu has a lot of, he had a lot of rookie mistakes and had a lot of game sense misreads because he came from such a dominant team in Challengers, came from a very different environment than the LCK where you can get away with some of the stuff he was doing. But you could see glimpses, even as at the beginning of the Rise group, you could see he was really learning how to weak side a little bit better. He was learning about how much side lane pressure he can put on, when to engage, and how to play from behind and still make an impact on picks like the Cassante we saw. So I do think that when he gets another year of experience under his belt, we might see a completely different player. He might also, like many of our potential players that are very high potential, had hit his ceiling. I don't think so, but maybe he has. But I would expect that we'll continue to see this player grow next year.
I'm hoping so. I feel somewhat optimistic about where this team is going. Even if maybe it's just going to be a little bit more of the same. Maybe it will be the Rise group, but the Rise group is the best, so who cares?
I also have to apologize.
What's up?
I thought BDD was MVP, right?
What do you mean?
But as it turns out, it was KT Rolster. Because they have made this the greatest playoff bracket ever in the LCK. I'm not joking. True. Can you think of a better playoffs that we've had ever?
But also, think about the difference that would have happened if they hadn't have won.
No. Again,
that's the crazy thing. That series had so much on its back. It's two teams immediately at Worlds.
Sorry, I was stewing on that segue.
It's beautiful.
We had the Hanwha Life win last year, right?
That was pretty amazing.
But we didn't get the exciting bracket thing until they won the lower bracket finals.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it was still a very stock standard. All roads lead to T1 Genji. We're like, oh god, here we go again. But then Hanwha made the upset happen, and then made the second upset happen. Well, them beating T1 was not necessarily an upset to be fair, but to a lot of fans,
the finals
it was.
definitely was.
The finals was
finals
right.
Was amazing.
And then we have this year where we don't just have the T1 Genji, of course they'll be in the upper bracket finals and then probably in the grand finals. There were a few other moving parts, but to have both of them in lower bracket.
Yeah, we're the League of Champions.
And we might
Kespa Cup champions. Yeah.
we might not have either T1 or Genji in the finals. It might be a KT Hanwha Life finals.
That's a crazy bridge too far.
Look at the bracket right here. I'm like,
who
if
won
KT win, they go to the finals.
KT faced off against Genji, by the way. Who
Before
won?
that, how many times did Genji win? Probably in a row.
No. But it's not about that. It's about where we got to, and what we've got to is KT are better than Genji. That's what it says on the sheet.
I'm not
right
saying
here.
it's likely. I'm just saying actually if this is how the bracket works. Again, if KT wins, they go to their lower finals winner and they go to the grand finals.
and
that also means to further the point that neither Genji or T1 who's already eliminated would be in the finals.
Yeah.
Also, Wolf is definitely up there as one of our biggest KT fans.
Wolf
so he
really
knows
is
what he's
utility
doing.
this episode. Yeah. He's really helping tell the story.
Because I really want to. Yeah, we also don't have anyone to remind us to follow the sheet, so he's making sure the sheet's to get his attention.
It's not even the sheet. It's just Wolf. He's helping us follow the Wolf.
I said we could have a finals where it's neither T1 and Genji. He's like, I don't know about that. I'm like, That's just how the bracket works.
And then he showed the sheet. It was so beautiful. He used props and everything.
Because with that win, so obviously KT made sure that the lower bracket was a complete bloodbath.
Mm-hmm.
They also ensured that they made it to Worlds, which otherwise, I think they would have most likely won against DK as well, because that would have been the actual series to decide Worlds.
Yeah.
Given the form of the teams over the year, like upsets could have happened, but most likely it was always going to be KT. But so they made sure that they made it to Worlds, and they also ensured that the Hanwha T1 series had so much more stakes going in, which ended up mattering. And it's again KT that made sure T1 is the 4th seed of the LCK.
Mm-hmm.
And they also spawned a "lol, you picked KT" meme.
The funny thing is, do we think that T1 now has more power now that they're the 4th seed again?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Well,
I
I mean,
don't
they
think it
didn't
matters
have a
at
big
all.
like hardship moment like they normally
Yeah,
have in summer
yeah.
before they go to win Worlds.
Right? There was no
This is it.
summer slump. This was the summer slump.
Yeah, the summer slump had to happen in the playoffs, unfortunately. I can see where it is. It's the HLE with the 3 and the 0.
I actually think it's the DK series.
I mean, that didn't
The
help.
summer
That one
slump
to me.
was a
That one to
win.
me was no. That one to me was no. I'm not even joking. That one to me was worse, because you have to remember coming. Like obviously the fact that Hanwha swept them was surprising, but T1 came out as the very clear second best team, only a smidge behind T1 or Gen.G.
Yeah.
And then they barely beat DK off of a
Yeah,
really
that
basic,
was the worrying sign.
right.
That was the eyebrow raiser for sure.
Yeah.
And like honestly, they lost the series and then Aiming got hooked. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that should have been
And
a win.
if it wasn't for KT, they wouldn't have gotten punished for that.
You know, if it wasn't for KT,
Praise
Guma
be.
wouldn't think he's a Ziggs player, right? And a Kai'Sa player.
So maybe even the Gen.G fans are also big fans.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we wouldn't have had that Game 5 draft.
That upper bracket finals between KT and Gen.G,
XD
that's an
plus.
all-timer. Like, it just, everything came together.
Honestly, like this whole, and now we can actually, I mean, we do need to talk
BDD
about
cried.
T1 a little bit more. And actually, let's do
We
that
all
now.
cried.
Let's
yeah.
do KT first. Or we do T1 first because they're
We need
fourth?
to do T1 first because
you made us do
they're
T1.
gone.
We're doing the sad ones. KT's
Second.
not a sad one yet, Chronicle.
Yeah, the KT's
They're still in
there.
the bracket.
Look at the shade.
That's a real KT fan right there.
Like, why are we doing the eulogy now?
Because if we do it,
BDD's still breathing.
Bottle!
how many years do we have to say it? BDD's still breathing.
He knows the inner workings of Gen.G. He's been there.
Got the classic!
He has like Arnold on speed dial. Please, can you just put that stuff in his breakfast? Okay. That doesn't happen. Let's talk about T1 because they are going to be heading straight to China and not participating in the LCK playoffs anymore as the 4th seed for the LCK. We mentioned this already, but I imagine that people over in China are a little bit upset about the fact that it's T1 that's going to be facing off against their 4th seed instead of a team that doesn't have as much of a reputation of destroying the LPL. I think it's really interesting because there are so many things to talk about when it comes to T1 on the positive side and the negative side.
Yep.
I feel like it is just an absolute heart monitor if you pick any sort of like topic about T1.
You could take any T1 game from playoffs. Like you close your eyes. There's like all the T1 games from playoffs are just like on the table, and you're like, I'll pick this one. It could be an amazing game. We're like, oh yeah, I really like what they did that game. It was a great performance from Owner.
And you
then
look at
pick
the
other one, and you're like,
post-match thread,
"Ooh."
and you're like, if you look at a post-match thread, this actually happened today in real time. Game 1, everyone's like, this whole team is washed. They're terrible. It's a 3-0. What the hell are they doing? It's over. We had a good run. Let's just lose to the 4th seed of the LPL, and that's going to be it.
The day.
And that's how they ended the day. But then you have a look at their second game, and they're like, my goats are back. Owner is just going to do this by himself. Look at how well they played around him. This is fantastic. Then game 3, Faker is still the GOAT. That Talia performance, unbelievable.
Should have been
which it
3-0.
It was. Should have been. I can't believe we're going to win a 4-0. Isn't this incredible, guys? Blah, 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 blah. Everyone's so... And you can justify all these takes because in the moments of these games, you see all of these things happening in real time. And then, unfortunately, Canyon wakes up finally.
And then there's the game
which is a
5
shame.
where Wolf is carefully dancing around. Like, Faker's not really known for his yone per se.
So
Reddit said it a little bit differently.
Yeah, I could imagine
I
that.
did.
there are two issues.
I think you
that,
navigated it very well.
I
Wolf.
felt, yeah, and it's warranted, right? There are two consistent issues for me in the current form of T1. One is Faker's consistency, because as we saw today on the Talia, there's a reason why he's still the GOAT. But I think we also have to be honest, 4 out of the other 5 games, he was a big problem. Right?
Ori, Yone.
I mean, the
those were
Ori he
rough.
won until he lost.
The Ori was... Okay, but he lost them the game.
But he also was helping them win it before.
Okay,
That
yeah,
game,
he
I'm
did.
a
The
little
reason
bit
they
less.
were in such a good position was because he hit a 3-man shockwave and then like caught
He
someone
also
in the jungle
smashed
and
the
did a whole
lane.
bunch of stuff.
Come on, Cronny. Like, give him a little credit.
No, because...
He did lose the game, but he also was winning it.
Yeah.
before
But
that.
two
He was
times.
there in the good times and the bad Chronicle.
And I think for me that we saw that not be a problem until Chovy also started playing better. And the impact, like, I'm not suggesting anything because you can't remove Faker from the team. He is the team,
Yeah.
right? And I'm also sure that anything I say now will be pointed at when we get to Worlds and it's like, oh, guess what? He's back again. Like, that's going to happen, inevitably.
When he puts the trophy in the cabinet,
Yes.
your point will still be
I
correct.
will be added by someone on Twitter that's like, you hate Faker, and watch him now. And you know what?
And you will,
He
because
will-
you'll
I'll be
probably
like,
be
"Look,
pretty
man, you
close
made him
by.
quit."
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. No. Oh my God, Deegan, you throw me off. That did it. Yeah, I'm so used to Max, but you
Yeah.
you caught me off guard.
I'm trying to tone
my
it down
boy.
today myself.
Oh
you know,
no,
these
oh
two,
no, oh
I'm
no,
like,
oh
I'm
no,
just
oh
on
no,
your
live.
side right now.
Oh, there we go. Thank God.
My bad.
That to me is a much lesser issue than I think that Fearless has actually been pretty bad for T1, and I think that they have. It's so interesting to me because I think they actually have deep champion pools, yet I feel like they are limited in drafts.
So
It's super weird because I feel the same way, and I'm sorry to cut you off there, Wolf, but like the 4th game draft with the Silas first pick, the way that it was going, I kind of loved it in the
opening.
draft itself. And then it colossally failed into Gen G's like, we're going to pick way too many tanks but still win, lol, type composition.
and they didn't play. They didn't
Classic.
play it right. Like they know how to draft those types of comps. I don't think they played it right, and they just played right into the insanely strong early team fighting skirmishing Callista comp. But the reason why I think T1 has struggled in Fearless is because as an org, and obviously this roster has mostly been the same for the last several years. They perfect a style. Sometimes their style is the best, and everyone copies and emulates them, like the double 80 carry, like marksman bottom lanes. They perfect a style, they run it really well, and then
Hone
like
it into a razor.
hone into a razor, and it's like, oh well, the thing about T1 is they have this marksman bottom lane, so we'll ban the Caitlyn, and then they have another one. They have another one. They still play the same style, right? But now that Fearless is a thing, you can't just only play the same style every single game.
Ryu
Over and over
tried.
and over again. he
And
really
he got
did.
very close to his credit.
And I think that like because the roster hasn't changed, it took a lot of shifting and moving parts for T1 to get to that consistent form this year, and they finally did get there. But then as we got to best of fives, it's like, okay, we figured out Fearless BO3, but then now it's a little bit more complex. And I think that they often picked comfort or good champions instead of picking a cohesive comp, or again, picked a cohesive comp but hadn't really scrimmed it or practiced it, it felt like, and it fell apart.
And it's weird because like we saw when they do pick these like like the Jarvan Rise, for example, was just a masterclass of decimation on T1's side. Looked almost impossible for Gen G.
But
to
also
play.
the most giga-broken picks basically
well,
right now.
true, yeah,
so.
yeah. But it just goes to show that when they do get that, this team is like world class. As
that
we
game,
already know.
Yeah, that game was like such a great display of
quintessential,
discipline as
yeah.
well, right? They when they had the lead, they didn't overstep to throw it. They just kept waiting in the top side of the red buff and just constantly killing Duro until finally it was go time to close the game out. That's the part of the world classness that this roster has.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I just it's so hard evaluating T1 at this
In
point.
its current iteration, with how they look right now in Fearless in the current meta, and this world's going to be a different patch, right? We were going to be 3 patches down.
Kiana's
There are-
nerfed. It's fine.
There are very substantial changes to many of the champions
Canyon's
that currently are top tier.
LCK's happy.
But it really did feel like we saw this for a lot of summer, second half of summer as well. If Owner doesn't pop off, the rest of the team can sometimes pop off, but it's not consistent at all. To me, it feels like. And I think that Owner has done such a miraculous job today as well in setting up his lanes for success. And T1, when winning, is the best team in the world. And like, it's not particularly close. but T1 went behind mutes what makes them good.
They play as if they're still winning oftentimes when they're not. Like they will take every fight. They'll take every risk. They'll take every extreme side lane position to try to collapse in. But when they're 4,000 gold behind, that fight doesn't go the way they expect. And then they double and triple down on it sometimes. This has been something I've noticed about T1, especially in the series against D+, where it's like, just fight every battle. I'm like, maybe pick your battles a little bit. Your comp scales here. There's some other winning elements. But they just kind of constantly brawl. When they have a draft that I think they're not as familiar with, they're like, it's okay because we have better read than them, and Faker's decision making is better than them, and we'll just actually always be ahead on the play. But sometimes it kind of collapses.
Right.
I agree.
Which is why that game 2, I think, was so impressive that they weren't just doing that. They were like, okay, Owner's our Fed person, so we'll play around him and we won't overextend. And I think where I get flustered with T1 is the thing that kind of did brought up, and it's a thing that's plagued them all year. It is, why can't we play around Guma when he is the one that needs to be played around, whether it's the Kaisa, and in this series, the Ziggs? I remember, maybe you remember this, in the back I was like, this is not how you play around the Ziggs. It was a lot of brawling on the top side of the map, but it just felt like he was constantly on his own. And like they weren't moving as a unit around the Ziggs to dish out the damage, poke down until it was time to go all the way in. And it just feels frustrating because yes, you could say, oh, this is a Goomer problem, or you could say this is a team problem, and it feels like they still haven't fixed it on those types of picks, and it's
a Goomer problem that the team has. And so therefore it's both. And we can just call
I
it
really,
a day.
and especially with a team that's as narrowly intertwined as T1, like any problem with any of the players, much more so than with other teams, I think is the whole team's problem because of the way that they play.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the full commitment play style doesn't really, for what it's worth, I think Guma's Ziggs, for example, there's no issue with. I think the team just sucks at playing around it.
Yeah.
When it comes to his Kaisa, though, I just don't think he's that good at Kaisa. But I also think that if you pick a 2-carry composition, like Kaisa is not a traditional hyper carry. She can be insane in fights, but I think she has such a specific niche as a champion. Just slam Jinx, right? Like slam picks, like actual hyper carries that you have a track
Also,
record.
Guma, can play really well.
You have a track record.
Like Caitlyn. Where's Caitlyn been?
Because when we were talking about 2022, that was what they played. It's easy to forget because they obviously pivoted away from that. And to me, it's always with T1. I think singling out any of the players on this team, even though I talked about Fakers from earlier, I also immediately mentioned like they are so narrowly entwined with any decision, any drafting decision, anything the team does, that I think pointing fingers at any single member on T1 is just really stupid.
It's the longest standing core roster, right? So oftentimes teams' identities change a little bit based on the fact that they have new ideas, new concepts, new players coming in who have different ideas about the game, and you rework how you play. Whereas T1 is like, no, this is how we do it. Doran was like, I kind of thought I could do something a little bit different at the beginning of the year, and it didn't work out. And then eventually he was like, oh, okay, I'll just do Zaya's cosplay, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, I was going to say, Zaya's cosplay, that sounds like Canon and Gangplank. Yeah, there we go.
And let's be real, this 4-man core is, I'd say, the best 4-man core of all time. Because if we think of that, they got 1 game away from making finals in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
They got 1 game away from winning MSI, 1 game away from winning Worlds, got third at MSI, won Worlds, got third at MSI, won Worlds, got second at MSI.
They had a few LCK finals appearances along the way there as well.
I just, for me, I think it's always fine because I do think the drafting conversation is always really interesting, but pointing fingers at any individual player just always tilts me because it's like, except when you're pointing a finger at owner and going,
yeah, I mean, I
it's
think
really good.
You can talk about things like, I think the Fearless discussion is really interesting about like whether they can actually find a way to play their playstyle with different picks, which you definitely can do because there's a lot of champions that do relatively similar things that you can make happen. I think that they just need to be creative and plan some stuff out and then hope that we don't get a billion things banned in every single game.
Why Genji won the series today in my mind, and I was very aligned with what we did said about like the series is like 70% draft, 30% gameplay, is that Genji was like, we can play the scaling Yunara comp. We can also play the insane dive, all in Callista. We have to be ahead the entire game. There is no scaling, blitz it style. And Genji's like, I can play both. I can also do the mid-range. Like, I can do anything. And T1's kind of like, we're trying to do this thing where we have 5 flex picks, and we're not sure about the Yone that was locked into this draft that's otherwise a poke draft. You know what I mean? So I think that's the difference between the two teams there.
Yeah, and I think that a similarity that when Hum was on form and when Genji are on form, that they have that puts them one step above is the fact that they can carry from 3 lanes consistently with an absolutely gigantuan amount of champions that they can carry on. Like, you put Ruler and Viper side by side. Obviously, Viper is the guy known for champion pool, but Ruler also has so many picks that over the years we're not allowed to give him.
Kalista.
Like, and like Ziggs, but like Kalista, Xayah, Kai'Sa, like Zeri, anything that can do damage late game big, Ruler is the guy.
Anything that glides.
Yeah, he and like having him and then Keen, who I just am blown away by. Like, he was the most deadly 1-in-4 like Gwen that I've seen since he did it last time. You know, like it's like it's insane what he can do. And then obviously Chovy's Chovy. Thankfully we got the Vex game. The Galio game was fantastic, and his Slytherin impression on he was a terrifying Cassiopeia.
Yeah.
Like, they ganked him and
believe it was
then
his
they
debut
ran
game.
away.
Yeah, the 2v1 on the
Yeah.
top side of the map, or 1v2.
He's like, all right. And then they're like, wait, it's
I'll
a
take you both
snake.
on. It was
That's
awesome.
that's
Yeah.
peak Cassio, like fat Cassio on the enemy team. And you're like, we can 2v1 her, right? And she's like,
Nope, actually not. So, like, being able to do that, and I think that, like, now, like, with Zeka playing a little bit better and the fact that Zeus has found amazing form in especially these playoffs right in time, and Viper Life Esports needs no introduction,
KT can still make the finals.
and they're not good, obviously.
What about BDD? What about Duckdom?
Hey, true. And honestly, Doc Dom's really stepped up.
What about Cuz?
Yeah.
Atlas?
Yeah.
Why are we only talking about Genji versus Hanwha for some reason?
Well, because of
Why specifically are only players from those 2 teams being mentioned regarding the future?
He's flexing.
Because
well,
K-
let's,
K- KT
let's
are the
talk
MVP
about
of
let's
playoffs.
talk about KT then.
KT Genji.
And what makes them different.
Should we talk about the future? No, I mean, I'm ready to talk about the future, because I mean, KT
That's where
did.
we're- that's
if you want
where
to talk
we're
about
at.
KT Gen G, that was the past, which KT did win.
Yes.
Um,
And now the future is KT versus
and I am
Gen G
very
revenge match.
currently prepared to predict Gen G to win KT in the right.
There it is.
We all knew it was coming.
Just because
but the
I
delivery was
want-
very good.
Just because I want an outcome to happen doesn't mean that I should say that I think it's going to happen.
I have to admit that I did that with DK.
Yeah, no, we've all done that.
We knew.
We've all
A
been
prediction
doing it all year.
is different from a hope.
Exactly.
I would
This
love
is-
you for the KT prediction, though.
I'd almost do it for the memes, but I think
No.
regardless.
It implies excitement, so
yeah,
I think
enthusiasm. I think
bad
even
form.
if you're a KT
Yeah.
fan, you're predicting Gen G.
You got it. They did it when it was it 14-0, 15-0?
14 and 15, I think.
Yeah.
Or 14 and 13, I'm pretty sure.
However, no. I meant how many
The predictions.
yeah, it was
yeah.
unanimous.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's
It both
unanimous.
because both this year and last year was like 13. Because I
Yep.
saw the images with BDD and the predictions. I think it was like. 13,
I think we all
14.
need to collectively agree that we're predicting Gen G.
Yes, I am
Because
predicting
we
Gen G.
absolutely need it to be unanimous again to give KT any hope.
Yeah.
But also, I did watch KT play against Hanwha Life Esports, and there's like, kind of, it was, there was some
Yeah.
things that were going up, but they weren't roller coasters or roaster coasters. It was kind of Hanwha Life. They were going up to the grand finals.
I feel with
Yes.
KT the same way that I feel with BNK. Like they could get 3-0, doesn't matter. They've all like the team has created magic yet again. They've given us the best playoffs that we've had. Even if they get swept here, who cares?
Yep.
I think even most KT
Well,
fans.
I mean, I kind of
I was like,
We literally have.
no, I know.
To go back to what I was
I
saying
have-
before.
I
I
have
mean,
talked
I
to
would be
Wolf.
like a little bit emotionally invested in the
I have-
in the possible win.
I have talked-
and then crushed by the eventual loss.
I have talked to Emily. I've talked to Laure. All these people, they will always say, "Oh, I'm gonna believe," but deep in their heart, they know.
Oh, yeah. Well, like, this is the thing about being a KT fan, is that you need to always be outwardly expressing your acceptance of losing horribly at any moment, whilst internally saying, please, for eternity.
So KT and DK are just the same.
Well, yeah. And KT did it first. Is just we need to make sure that everyone knows that.
I do think that the reason why KT beat Genji last time was the jungle gap, And while
yeah.
Canyon did wake up today,
Maybe he goes back to sleep.
Maybe he goes back to sleep, or maybe he just didn't perform well in the beginning of the series, and maybe he doesn't perform well in Inspire Arena, right? Like, there's a strong possibility that could happen. Perfect. He's the type of player who's both a liability in draft, but also kind of a reliable punching bag in the top lane if he can get those champions. I think teams, especially like Hanwha Life, have identified that Perfect is kind of, he's weak side only. That's the way it goes. He doesn't do the other one.
I love that. Yeah, my top laner, a punch bag.
He'll take a hit.
Yeah.
And then he'll take another one.
Yeah, he'll stand in front so the other guys don't get hurt.
We put a shield in front of him in games 1 and 2, but then there's no more shield to put in front of him because we ran out because he only has those 2 tanks in the top lane he can play.
Horn inside, baby.
But then he'll do it again on Ambessa this time. But unfortunately,
he keeps asking for the flamethrower, but for some reason it's not allowed to be played.
The KT mid jungle is legitimately world class and absolutely elite.
It might be the best in the league, and it might not matter.
I think Owner's the best jungler.
Well, as in like the combination of the two is
that's
the best.
That's valid. Yeah.
I think at the moment, like over the year, it was Chovy Canyon, right?
I would still say, as a 2v2.
As a 2v2.
Sorry, yeah, but I think that was kind of carried by Chovy. I'm not gonna lie.
Right, but
what about
agree.
Showmaker Canyon back in the day?
But I think now, as far as like the form of Cousin B2D at the moment, I think they are the best 2 individual players like in those 2 roles.
Remember the Syndra game?
I remember even the Lissandra game.
It's
like
such a
B2D
good proxy
just
for
like
you, Wolf. I'm so happy.
Remember the Lissandra Wukong, the backup Lissandra? BDD's got more. He's got Veigar up his sleeve.
Oh man,
I hope he doesn't pull it out, but like he has it.
I'll never count out a team with Peter.
Oh,
or Duckers.
Do you know what? I was in the post-game thread of this Genji T1 series that happened today, and people were also posting Peter my goat in that thread. That's the world we live in. Like, and like sometimes you read the news and you just feel depressed about the way the world's going. Sometimes you pop into a post-match thread and someone just says, Peter would have won. Because he did win a Maokai game.
It was good.
Yeah.
He played a really good Maokai support game.
And it wasn't Flame that happened after that. It was just Peter my goat. Over and over again, and then they said something about Pedal Peddler, and it was just the greatest. And I don't know. Every time I read about Peter, I just remember that happiness is a thing that people can have.
Sadness also.
Yes, the rest of the thread was that.
For those who may want Peter to succeed, but he often falls short.
People talk about the Lost Rocks Tiger, which obviously is Peanut. What about the last remaining Noodle Boy? That's what I want. Because I think Gio might be gone next year, and then it'll just be Peter. Dun
will come back.
He'll come back for a little bit.
He did.
The last Ramyun block.
I mean, isn't that a lot of KT? BDD? Right?
I mean,
Noodle Boy?
BDD was in.
Oh no, we don't remember those days.
No.
We might have to edit this part out. T-Gon
Dread-
doesn't know about the controversy,
no.
the ghost bottom lane.
Peanut?
You guys Ghost
Peanut
might
Noodle
make
Boy?
it to LTA, by the way.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
They're
yeah.
playing the
Isn't that just the
promotion
happiest news you've ever... Like, imagine just Ghost thriving somewhere out there.
When it
gaming.
comes
Ghost.
to
It's Astral,
players,
right?
Astral Gaming, sorry.
yeah. Ghost is one of the most genuinely lovely people ever.
He is so sweet.
And I remember because I got this feedback from, I think it was Oceanic players that were over at a tournament, and they hung out with Ghost all the time because he was just, I think Tally was telling me about this.
Tally Wacka.
You good old Wally Thacker. That was his name.
Fast.
It's sorry, that was his name.
It's the appropriate response. Yeah. I mean, it's the appropriate response. So,
In 2014, that was his name when Freak cast him in the OPL finals, and we were really excited. Anyway, I remember like they would hang out, and like Ghost was just always down for a good time, always like happy to chat with like anyone ever, and I just want to say that he's lovely. So
always
very
happy to be a
that he's
stable
finding
bot laner
success.
in your
Yeah.
League of Legends game.
There's a reason why he's
Actually,
got a Jin skin.
I have no issue with Duckers. I think Duckers has been great. I think that the bar to like, or the barrier to the top 3, I don't think he consistently hits.
Are you trying to say he's not elite?
That's
Oh
actually
my
that was an ongoing conversation me and Wolf had.
Yes.
I still think that I don't think he hits the Viper Ruler Guma trifecta, but Imagine,
But he's in the Elite Four.
yeah, he is in the Elite
If
Four
you
for
put
sure.
if you said top 4 instead
Yeah.
of top 3.
There you
No,
go.
for sure. I'm just making clear. I don't have any beef with Duck, but just imagine Ghost and Peter in a bot lane together. Imagine the
Why is
vibes.
he doing this?
Yeah,
to
what?
Tom?
They're still in.
Yeah,
It
it's
says
on the sheet.
They
I'm
are
not-
still.
No, I'm
Why
not
are you
in.
breaking up KT
No,
already?
I'm not talking about.
Just
Crocker,
because
if
you're
you
leaving
would
doesn't mean you have to
like-
burn it down.
He's imagining a scenario that's actually not possible because Ghost is not currently registered to play on KT roster in the playoffs.
I know your team's in gray.
Okay.
But KT
Guys,
is the
I'm
last
not-
red
I
team
just-
standing.
There was no deeper meaning. I just think both Ghost and Peter are very
Those
nice
vibes in a
individuals, and the
theoretical
vibes
team
would
for
be
the
great.
future would be nice.
Just in a
true.
hypothetical.
There we go.
So-
however, KT
I think Duck
do
Dom's pretty
still
nice
exist.
also.
Yeah.
He is actually. Yeah.
Remember that one time he came out with a cast on to carry his team across the line?
That was a baller move.
Domlon fans
So,
remember.
Wolf, as the KT fan, do you have an issue with us discussing Genji Hanwha Life as the potential final?
No, because
I think
as
we should discuss
predicted-
Genji first, and then we can go into like. I think almost.
No,
all
yeah,
of
that's
this-
fine. We could just do a Genji.
We mentioned
Hanwha.
we
Yeah, no, it's
mentioned
fine.
that we as even KT fans predict Genji to be going to the final. So I think maybe we can just go there because even if you're a KT fan, you have to predict that Genji are going to the final. So if we
'Cause-
even put into the universe that it's possible that KT can go to the final, which I know goes against what you were saying before, where they are
this
still
is not
alive on the
possible.
shit.
Get the paper out of here.
The sheet. I said a rude word by accident, but I meant to say sheet. I'm sure it's an accent thing. Anyway, it, it's. I need to keep
I
this.
did not mean
I'm
for
just
that
gonna
to
move this over
happen.
here.
Dagon, are you okay?
Well, we're trying to get rid of the potentiality of it happening. Wolf
No.
said,
Yeah, no.
on
So
this
this-
paper,
Guys,
it's
focus.
potential.
We just
Genji
need-
Hanwha.
Yeah, Genji Hanwha is the thing, and we just don't accept that. Like we all just know that KT are gonna lose. It's fine, and
I am
that's okay.
so upset I just destroyed the paper. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
well, I mean,
I mean,
like,
she
you-
spent a lot of time making it. It was actually like
Worked
a
hard
lot
on
of
those sheets,
resources.
Dagon.
Yeah, now Mao and I need to share them, and
I
so
don't
now
need the sheet.
neither of us can read the sheet.
I'm gonna need to watch you walk that down to recycling later.
You
Guys,
may
let's
actually,
not bully
because we
Dagon,
might walk
okay?
into the back.
Let's not. Let's
I don't
not
know where
resort to
recycling
bullying.
is.
Let's lock in Genji Hanwha.
So
Yep.
I know there's been a lot of people, starting with Valdez, who like basically already said to Hanwha, just give them the trophy.
Just
on
give
cast.
Hanwha Life the trophy?
just give
Is that
Hanwha
what
the
we've
trophy.
turned it
basically
into?
Said, he
What
basically
the
said that.
heck?
I kind of feel like Hanwha's win over T1 was against a T1 that was in shaky form that still hadn't really figured out their BO5s yet, and maybe today was kind of a continuation of that. And then they beat KT, who no one's really excited about, and was a pretty weak KT performance, to be honest.
Well, they had
so
just
are we
won,
really just
so they were
going,
no longer
okay, they
new.
6-0'd, but then Genji went to 5, so by transitive property, I guess Han would just do the winning? Oh, is that what we're doing? We're not gonna talk about some stylistic differences. We're not gonna talk about how Chovy's still the stronger mid laner over Zeka. We're not gonna talk about.
Yeah, no, that's what this part of the show is. Actually, is talking.
Oh,
about that.
okay, good. I thought we were kind of just. You guys were just gonna say Han
That's
will
on
win
the
and then
sheet. If
it would
if
roll.
Dagon hadn't, although wait, you still got one. So
No,
never
yeah,
mind.
I could still see it.
I-
Right there.
yeah.
My specific reasoning, and I think that if Genji is firing on all cylinders, they will win. Because I think if they're firing on all cylinders with the current roster, they are the best team in the world. Right? I think, though, that Hanwha's prep in this playoffs has been the best, bar none. They have the players and the depth of champion pool to back it up. Their pathing has been amazing. Their individual prep for every team has been...
The nut. Sorry.
not God, has actually been crazy. What that means is that Hanwha Life is going to prep for Genji, and even if they have to end up having to prep for KT.
So the only way they lose the LCK final is if KT
Yes.
upsets and they haven't
I mean,
prepped and they have to play them the next day.
I'm not even joking, because I think that given the Hanwha Life prep record and how well that the team currently seems to be functioning, I think this will be one of the hardest finals to call that we've had in recent years. But I would be favoring Hanwha right now.
I would be not, because I favored Hanwha in the last final before MSI, and I got emotionally destroyed by the horrific 3-0
After the reverse sweep.
yeah, that was
It was
gross.
reverse sweep
I
into
do-
freeze.
yeah.
That was painful.
I do
Yeah,
think
and it
Crocker-
feels like a 3-0 in my
Crocker's-
head. That's how it feels.
Kronka's onto something with the prep though, like the Viper lane swap that we saw, some really cool drafting. The Smolder play just in general was quite clean, and this is also for me kind of extremely unlike Hanwha Life Esports to come in with like strategy and like, like I'm serious. Like they kind of just
I have all of your EWC conversations
Peanut
in my
go
brain.
in, Viper clean it up. That's what we do. We're Hanwha Life Esports. Excuse me, Viper Life Esports. And then this time it felt like that everyone's got this coordinated effort. Peanut looks completely back in form in terms of his early game. He's playing Poppy again. That's something that you have to ban against him. So I do think Hanwha look to be favorites, but I don't think it's like a freebie by any means.
No.
I think we might get a banger of a series. And even if it is like KT showing up, I don't care. That's still a banger. You know,
If
like
the series-
these two series that we have are going to be really special.
I'm kind of like Chovy is Chovy Can is the X factor to me, where we don't know what form they're going to be on. Obviously, they might be exhausted from that KT series. They might have been a little bit exposed in that KT series, had to show more strategy, like you mentioned, the prep. But also, even though Genji's played more games than normal to get to the finals because they got knocked out by KT, Chovy still played Vex, and no one really knew that was coming, right?
Yeah.
Like, we knew it was a possibility, of course, but, like, it's not something you really expect or prep for, and T1 definitely did not. So, Zeka is not that guy. Like, Zeka will occasionally play Akali, and we're like, I don't know if this is an Akali angle. You know, you
when
occasionally
he
play
pulls
Sylas, and
out
we're like,
something
okay,
weird, you're like, Zeka. You know, that's what you do. Like, he
stay
has,
in the Zeka box.
Yeah, he has it, but the box is full of a lot of toys now.
We keep
but
saying, like,
you
yeah,
know
we keep saying the
toys.
Zeka box is a little bit bigger this year.
It is a good box.
Yeah. Chovy's parents get him new toys all the time, though. And so, unfortunately, you like reach into Chovy's box, you're like, oh, wow, this G.I. Joe, I didn't even think that came out yet, you know?
Yeah,
And then he
Chovy's
also-
box is the unlocked account.
And then he also he has also really old toys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're like, what? This was only played by Fiesta in 2021.
Yeah, where did you get this
Why-
vintage
why
antique?
Why do I hear bass music? As he locks in
Chovy-
set mid.
Chovy
God.
picks up like the Cassidon and like shakes it, and he's like, "No," puts it down back in the box.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
yeah.
This one's too slow.
Oh, I found a snake in the corner.
Yeah, that was fun that Keria hovered the Cassidon, and then he hovered it back before locking the Cassiopeia, and then 1v2ing, 1v9ing the game. That was pretty awesome. I think for Hanwha, for me, it was Delight, I think's performance. Peanut and Delight, right? Those are the two X factors for me. Peanut, I didn't vote him for All Pro because he was struggling,
Neither did
right? But I think
I did, but like I didn't feel like
Didn't feel
it was
great about
clear.
it.
I didn't feel like he was clearly the third, which I put him in third.
And I think with Delight, who has oozed confidence even throughout some of these tougher runs, to be able to back it up on the Alistair in game one the way that he did was just like, oh, now he has the proof to back up the confidence, and the team was humming and he was making plays all around the map. Like, that's what you needed, because that was the strength of Hanwha that you said earlier. You have multiple different winning ways, winning lanes to play through, but then we stopped kind of getting that as a tandem with Delight and Viper. It was just Viper, and it seemed like teams were starting to be able to handle that if Peanut was having an off game. But then when he started humming and Peanut were humming, that's awesome. So now both
It kind of sounded like,
Yeah. Well, so the way I see,
I keep saying they were humming. I don't know.
Like an engine.
like an engine.
the way I've got an analogy for
Okay.
you guys. Can I try it out for a sec?
Oh, this is going to be bad.
He was also playing music beforehand. We were playing
So,
music earlier.
as you were talking about, you know, they have three like avenues of attack. You know, they've
Three
got
lanes,
three
some might
lanes
say.
of power, and then you've got two supports.
And then someone who links them together.
Yeah. And so basically, if you like visualize it, they're a fork or a trident.
It's a trident, yeah.
Yeah,
A fork has four, generally.
But a fork can have three.
It can have three,
Oh
but
my
it
God.
only
Can
has
also
four.
have two.
It's called a fork because it's four. It's not called a three, Kniga.
But wait, so the point is though, like it forms the fork, okay, and we can get the fork. It forms the fork.
Max, I just want to say,
right?
with your accent, you should be very careful.
No, I'm being intentional. Okay.
He's just forking around, guys.
This is how I get to. I'm just saying fork a whole lot of times, okay? It's fine. This is allowed. It's cutlery. Anyway, so what happens is you've got the three, and then you've got the two, and you got a fork, and it's great, and you can eat your dinner, and everything's lovely. But what happens when the two things connecting are gone or not working? You have 3 sticks. And that's
I've-
not helping.
I've just
that's cutlery
realized-
as well.
I've
Dang it,
just
you can still eat your
realized-
dinner. That's chopsticks. I should
I
go
just
home.
realized
I've-
KT are chopsticks, yeah, in this analogy.
They are just chopsticks.
Yeah. Well, that's my preferred method of
The
eating.
analogy worked so well. Actually, no, it didn't work for me, but you saved it. It got there in the end because they only got the 2.
One thing I will say in all seriousness about how Hanwha played their last 2 series is they were strangely well prepared, as Chronicle put it, but also measured. Like they knew, oh, this is not the time to fight. Like the Smolder game where they gave up the dragons and they were like, oh, we can just scale. We need more stacks. Old Hanwha was like, I'm not giving that dragon. We're going to fight anyways.
Yeah. No, there's people here. We must do fighting.
Yeah. Delight, get them. But like actually they knew when not to fight and they were a little bit careful. I was quite shocked.
They were also a little bit lucky to get the 4th Drake to extend the game to another one because it was when Owner didn't have Smite for like less than half a second. It was coming off cooldown and then they were able
Calculated.
Viper was able to pick it off. But yes, like the strategy was wait and then if they're forcing us into it, we'll take it away.
I just liked that Hanwha was good again because they were really not. They were still fine, but they were very clearly third.
Yeah.
Feeling like a 2-team region was bad. That was a bad
Now
feeling.
we're a 4-team region, right?
Thanks
Nah,
for
3-team
saying that,
region.
Connie.
No. 3-team region, Wolf. No.
I mean, the T1 fans might get upset if you said we were only a 3-team region. Coming as the 4th seed, of course, for the LCK.
Well, sometimes I don't want to feel too sad when they don't
It's
win
going to
the
be fun
play-ins best of
storytelling
5.
going in the world. So tell about your 4 seeds and the respective power level.
No, actually, I love this the most because we've got the defending LCK and First Stand champions, the defending MSI champions who won and EWC champions, the back-to-back defending world champions, and KT.
Rolls to the 2025 LCK champions, yeah. I mean, we might say that. I'm just saying. Like, if you look at the bracket, it's actually it's quite possible.
Oh my god!
That means we got to take it away from Hanwha.
Guys, that's it. We've peaked. That's it.
The defending
That's
First
it.
Stand champions. That's the only one that Hanwha is.
And honestly, that gives them one, so it has to happen. Because otherwise they're not defending anything. They're just selling phones.
So that's what I'm saying. It's still possible if you look at the bracket.
KT fans.
Oh, they're still alive on the sheet.
KT fans are going to be upset with how much we're hyping up KT. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, we're doing the best to do both, I think, is what we're
Really
attempting
walking
here.
that line.
We're at Dances with Wolves. That's what
Yep.
we're doing.
That's the plan.
If you take the 2 chopsticks from the chopsticks analogy and put them at like a cross, it makes KT the X factor of the rest of the playoffs.
You clearly,
That
guys,
is an analogy I can get
the
around.
2 of you have clearly costed a 5-game series today. By the way,
There was a lot of yelling in the first one,
Yeah.
and then it went to 5 games.
Yeah,
after
we
that.
were very worried about how we were going to be after the game 1, and then we were okay.
you got to take
until
a break
game
for
5.
3 games.
We
That
did.
was nice.
We did. That was definitely nice. But I think we've covered enough here, and I'm worried that I might do another analogy which may lose respect of everyone on the planet, instead of just the ones that have watched up until this point. So I think it's probably time for us to call it. Degon,
Someone sanitized that
Yeah.
Microphone after this episode. I don't know why Degon keeps putting his eyeballs on it.
I'm like
but
trying to see whether there's anything.
That's not
written.
a telescope,
Eyeballs are
Degon. If you look
definitely
at the
less
side,
bad
the
than
label, it
just the
clearly
saliva
says
that
"Sure
we-
Microphone"
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah,
He just likes the mic.
just like the mic.
He just trusts the sanitization of Lolpuck, which is an absolutely.
When I
fine
hold my
thing to
cat
do.
in my lap, it also rubs its face on the microphone like that.
You should see my microphone. Actually, I got one of these, and it is just covered in cat hair.
Thanks, Ian.
Yep. But
Thanks,
it is
Ian.
time for us to call it. Thank you so much, and we will see you for the next episode of the Pog State, which may or may not be happening before the end of the year, because I actually have no idea. But we'll just keep it up. Hopefully, we get another one. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.